What's up, y'all? It's your boy Vinny Dangerous, and I had to get on here and give my thoughts real quick. Um, yeah, man, Cole apologizing for the response track to Kendrick, and I'm massively disappointed as a hip hop fan. Like before I get too deep into it, let me just say on a human level, I get it. Like Kendrick and Cole are friends, so maybe there's some stuff behind the scenes where this might, cause some more friction than what may already be there, or may cause some friction that ain't already there, but could start something over some like petty back and forth. And and I won't go into like, a blow by blow about how I feel about the track, but I will just say listening to, I think it was like 7 Minute Drill was the name of the track. I just know 7 minutes and drill is in the title. But the track, it just sounded like Cole's heart wasn't in it. Like and you can compare that to like a song like 3001 or Crocodile Tears, just Tears, that is like right before that. And he sounds way more motivated. He sounds way more like inspired. Like if he came with that kind of energy on this track, it would probably kind of hit a little harder. But he just sounded like, I am just really not up for this. Almost like he's being forced to do this track. So I could tell like this isn't really what I want to do, but I respected it because like I felt like this was about competition, and he just felt like he had to like throw his hat out there at some point. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Like a lot of people were talking about how it wasn't hard enough, how he should have came at Kendrick better than that. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt, thinking that, oh, this is a warning shot. Like, maybe something bigger is coming if Kendrick decides to go at him directly. Because the Like That verse on the Future Metro Boomin album, it wasn't really like aimed at Cole. And I said that on my podcast, like a few weeks ago when Like That first came out, that it it sounded more like Drake and Kendrick was the real squabble, and Cole just kind of caught astray just because he's standing too close to Drake. Like him and Drake have been going on tour together, like in a lot of the Might Delete Later video blogs that were coming out. Um, Cole and Drake was being real buddy buddy. They did the first person shooter track. So there was a part of me that just kind of felt like, all right, you just caught a stray because you standing too close. But the real beef that Kendrick has is with Drake. And I even said like on that episode, like Cole has an out. If he doesn't want to respond, he really didn't have to. Like Drake was really the one on the clock. It wasn't really Cole, because Cole wasn't really the main target of that track. But I respected the fact that he said, I'm gonna be in it anyway. Kind of like, hey, you guys are trying to say that y'all fighting for the top spot. Just know that I'm here and I've been killing it. And he wanted to make sure that his name was in the conversation. I could respect that. Even if I didn't like this track that much, and even if I thought it was a little lackluster, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, saying this is a warning shot, and I respected the fact that you said, I'm going to make sure that you guys don't leave me out of this conversation. I could respect that. But to then, on the second night of Dreamville, right before he performs Love Yours, he decides to get up on stage and apologize. And like I said, on a human level, I get it. On a grown man level, I get it. That's your boy. You know, you're thinking that this stuff is petty, like, and it really shouldn't, like, you don't really want it to mess up anything like personal between you two. I understand that on a human level, but as a rapper, this is pretty pathetic, I have to say. And I've been one of the biggest advocates. Like, I don't compare hip hop to sports. I don't really care about the whole GOAT conversation like it is because it's so arbitrary. But you guys are in the conversation, and for years, even as recently as last year on For All the Dogs, y'all were saying that y'all are the top three of your game. And from the generation that y'all came from, y'all are really the only one standing left from that like late 2000s, early 2010s era, like all these new rappers like them and Big Sean and Wale and shit, I'm trying to think of more. There's more than that. Or like, people like Nipsey, rest in peace. Like there were, there's probably other names I'm forgetting right now, but there were like all these rappers that was coming up that were being co-signed or mentored by like rappers from the previous generation, and it was just a race to see which one of these guys is going to be next up. And from that class of rappers that came in around that time, Cole, Drake, and Kendrick are the only three that are still doing it at a high level to where they're still considered like the number one guys, like decade and a half on from when they first started. I can respect that. And for you guys to be constantly saying, I'm number one, I'm number one, I'm number one. And for Kendrick to throw out that challenge, like, all right, we gonna see. All right, I'm number one. It ain't no big three, it's just big me. For him to throw out that challenge and then you to respond, I I don't see that as like being immature. I don't see that as something to be ashamed about, to feel like you need to apologize about. And like it's really disappointing, and I'm also kind of a little irritated at the conversation around it because a lot of people are trying to make this to be a maturity thing. If you're disappointed, if you feel some type of way towards Cole for deciding not to just back out and say that this stuff is petty and foolish, like people trying to discredit your feelings and your disappointment about it, and I don't agree with that because rap, even if I don't look at it the same way, I don't look at it as a sport, it's always been a competitive nature. And this was one of those things that makes hip hop exciting. And like let's just keep it a buck. Like, to try to make it seem like it's gonna be bigger than what it is. Like, if it's a personal thing between you and Kendrick, okay, cool. But trying to act like these guys are Jeezy and Gucci going at it, or let's like this is like, you know, Lil Durk and Rondo going at it or something like that, like where it's on some real street stuff. Like, it's not Young Thug and Lil Wayne. Like, people are nobody is looking at you two guys, Kendrick Lamar, the very artsy, poetic artist, and Cole, the down home country, like southern, like gentleman type artists. Like, you guys are always looked at on some like highbrow shit. Like, nobody's looking at y'all and thinking that this shit is going to escalate to any street violence. So to try to like play that narrative is foolish as hell. Like, that's why I compared this beef more to like a Nas and Jay, or other than like maybe a 50 and Ja or something like that. Cause 50 and Ja really wanted to kill each other. It just so happened that they would talk about each other on wax. Whereas Nas and Jay said, I'm the king of New York. No, I'm the king of New York. All right, we gonna prove it. And then they then take over and ether happened. But nobody got beat up, nobody got stabbed, nobody got shot. There wasn't no like life threats being sent back and forth. There might have been a little bit of that in the lyrics. I didn't get any of that from Like That. I didn't get any of that from 7 Minute Drill. So to try to make it seem like this thing is gonna escalate into something crazy. And then if that was the case, then Cole would have said that. If Cole really thought, hey, maybe some people that ride with me talking about taking this shit to the streets. Maybe some people on Kendrick's side is talking about taking this to the streets. Hey, let me step in between this and make sure they don't escalate like that. Then I would understand. I would understand if that's why you're like, all right, let's kill this before it goes too far. But no, this is I was at home. It wasn't sitting right with my spirit. I wasn't sleeping right for a couple days over a verse where the most you said was, I put out more music than you because you went away. Or that To Pimp a Butterfly was boring, and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was a tragic album compared to your classic that you came out with. Like, saying that Damn was the peak, Good Kid, Mad City was a classic. To I don't I, s- I don't see it. I feel like I'm being gaslit a little bit, and I hate that word. I hate using those phrases, but that's the only thing it feels like when you're trying to play a rap fan being excited about two rappers going head to head in a lyrical competition as something that I am too immature to want to see at this point. That's like people being like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't like sports." Like if I don't, I'm not a big sports guy, but so I may not look at somebody that is painting their body the team colors before they go to an NFL game. I don't look at I can't understand that. But I'm not dismissing how passionate they are about it at the same time. Like trying to make this a maturity thing is just so corny, especially when you really look at the track record. Like I don't want to be that guy to dismiss Cole. Like I'd had to be that guy over the weekend because people were talking crazy trying to dismiss To Pimp a Butterfly, which is one of my favorite rap albums of all time, trying to say that it was whack, trying to say that it was boring, and trying to like let it be known that like in even though I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, I still look at Kendrick as the better artist of the three. Not even on some favoritism thing, just objectively. I probably enjoy listening to more Drake just on a day-to-day basis than probably any of the three. But objectively, I feel like Kendrick is the better artist between him, Cole, and Drake. And so I had to be that guy. But I've never want to discredit Cole. Like, of course, what he's done for North Carolina and what he's done for Fayetteville in particular, just shining that light on the city. Like I can't dismiss that. But to try to act like T-Pad was whack was just like all right, bro. I don't want to slander you, bro, but like that's a wild accusation. But so I already had to be that guy. But then to turn around and try to make this thing a maturity thing, because then I'm wondering, where is the apology for No Name? Where is the apology for Wale? Where is the apology for Kanye? And I don't like Kanye. I've made that very clear on a lot of situations, but that applies to everybody that you've taken a shot at. This isn't just, oh, Kendrick thing. This feels like a Kendrick thing because of all the people that you've gone at and gone at directly. Kendrick is the only one that you had nothing for. Anything that you could have said about Kendrick was already talked about on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. If you really wanted to take it there, all you had was try to use like some kind of like lame internet conversation. Like there are people that throw out these whack hip hop assessments about Kendrick. They say it about Cole. They say it about whoever. It's really more about getting attention and starting conversation and what people actually feel. But you use that assessment as a way to try to get one over on Kendrick. It felt like you sat back, you watched the response to your song, you saw that it wasn't overly positive. You had your fans that were defending it, and there were some people that just kind of gave it the benefit of the doubt for what it was. But it overall, most of the reactions was that this wasn't it, and you know, you decided to back out. Because I feel like this isn't a situation where I write this song, I rap this song, I record this song, it is mixed and mastered. I sit down and listen to it and still go, I'm gonna put it out. And then after it's out, after you've had time, after it's been streamed, like it's got like crazy streaming numbers, which applaud to Cole for that too, because It was a surprise album. Nobody saw it coming, but it still did like a massive first couple of days. Like, like more than anybody. I think I looked. It was like for rap albums, it may be like the only third rap album to hit like over 100,000 first week projections. Like between him and I think it was like Drake and one other person. I can't think of who the other person was, but yeah, like so you let the conversation do what it do, and then you decide to apologize and say it wasn't right for you, right in your spirit, after like a very lackluster response that a lot of people had towards the track. So that's why it doesn't really feel genuine. It doesn't really feel like this feels like a I am conceding to this battle, but I want to try to at least make it look like I didn't lose by trying to make it seem like a maturity thing, make it seem. And like I said, I don't know the man. He a grown man. This really might have not felt right on his spirit. Maybe nobody was in the studio that told him maybe this probably shouldn't go out. Maybe there was nobody that is a mutual acquaintance that was around. Because a lot of TDE guys, I mean, I know Kendrick's not TDE no more, but he was TDE long enough that he built relationships with a lot of those guys. Like, I would imagine at least somebody that knows you and knows him would have probably stepped in and said, maybe not this one. So maybe either they were afraid to say it, or they were just gassing it and they didn't see nothing wrong with it either. But man, I don't understand trying to make this a thing. I think you just need to come out and say you lost. He threw a shot at me. I wanted to respond, and what I came with wasn't good enough. That's just kind of what it comes down to. If you felt like you didn't have anything else, like if this was not the warning shot, this was really what you had, and you just made it seem like a warning shot, like just to try to, I don't know, maybe deter him from maybe trying to take a more direct approach to you. Which I mean, I don't really see Kendrick doing that. Then I don't know. Maybe you just kind of had that realization, like maybe I'm not that guy. Maybe I'm not the rapper that I've been proclaiming to be this entire time. Like especially these last few years when you've been on this crazy feature run. And I even said it on the last podcast. I'll go ahead and link it under this once I post this. But I said I've never seen Cole like in all the verses that he's been praised for, like these year end best verse of the year, for the last few years, and all these features that he's been on in his run. Maybe with the exception of maybe like somebody like Jid or Benny the Butcher, like I haven't really heard him rapping with people on his level or even close to his level. So I said it also said like I didn't know what Cole does in a battle. Like I just didn't see Cole as the battle guy. So either you stepped into an arena that you just were not ready for. Maybe you got swept up in the moment and you hit the red button, let it go out to everybody, and then it was too late. You hit the button and then had like immediate like buyer's remorse with going through with it. I don't know. I just don't like the whole we're trying to take this maturity approach because I like and I like I said, I'm a fan of Cole. I'm from Fayetteville. Like, I'll never take away what he's done for the city. But I don't like I could look at your track record. I'm a fan of your music, so I know your lyrics. I know the things that you've said. I know and there was a line on this new project. The conversation wasn't really as big because the conversation was mostly about the Drake. I mean the Cole Kendrick, dissing back and forth. That was the dominant conversation. But there's a line on this track, like the one with Daylight and Ab Soul, where you make this really weird trans simile, and I was like, I listened to it before I even saw like anybody like pointing talking about it. Most of the conversation was dominated by his response to Kendrick. Before I even before I even saw anybody else's, I said, "Ugh, that's not that's not it." I mean, bro, I don't know how people feel. Like, hey, some people are like whatever because they transphobic or they don't fuck with trans people. All right, cool. But it's a bad look for a guy that is supposed to be this voice of the voice of the people. Like, you're supposed to be like the man of the people. Why would you make that bar? Why didn't anybody say maybe that one not it? That's not the one that you want to go with. Like, I just even if you genuinely like, I don't know if you care or not. If it you probably didn't mean no harm by it. Like, it didn't really seem like that. It didn't seem malicious, but it's just a bad look, and I wouldn't have put that out. And I felt like maybe that would have been worthy of an apology, worthy of like, hey, I'm gonna change that lyric. That would have been more worthy than to try to like, fan the flames of this Kendrick thing. So that's just my thoughts on it. Like, let me know how you feel. I just, yeah. Honestly, at this point, I wish he would have just not responded. The diss was more for Drake. It wasn't really for Cole. He had an out. If he really wanted to be Mr. Mature, like, he could have been the mediator to get in between both of them. That's your man's. That's your man's. They're going at each other. Be that guy. Write a song about that and put that out. Don't say you want to go back and forth. But all I'm saying is, I don't. It's like verses like the verse on Stick, all these gun bars, and I have my own feeling about that when it comes to Cole. It's been very prevalent, like very recently in his stuff, that like it's a lot more street adjacent shit being thrown in his lyrics. But like, I just need you to stop now. Like, that I need you to do more KODs. I need you to do more 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I can never get that shit right. I would just call it Forest Hills Drive. I need you to do more Forest Hills Drive. I need you to do more KOD. I need you to do more For Your Eyes Only. And you have your fan base. You don't have to do all that street shit. Because if we just being honest, when it came to step up, when you said you wanted to smoke, and somebody stepped up and said they wanted it too, even in an indirect way, like, you called it stray, but they still wanted to smoke. Either don't respond or just take the crown off. Like, I think this moment, you could say it was a mature moment on Cole's part. This is the guy we loved. Okay, cool. Uh, I don't want to hear anything about him being the best anymore, because you just let it be known, whether you feel you're behind Kendrick or both him and Drake, you've let it be known that you're number three. You're the number three of the big three. Yeah, man. Like, rap is a rap beef. I mean, not even a beef. It's not even a beef. It's a battle. It's two guys saying that who is the best. You've been saying you're the best. He's been saying he's the best. Drake's been saying he's the best. The challenge was laid out, and I think you just need to accept. Honestly, I would have way more respect for it. And who am I, right? I'm just Vinny Dangerous. Before anybody throw that in the comments. Like, who am I to, say I would have respected this more than that? All right, cool. Eat a dick. But I would have respected it more if he just came out and said I lost. Or he just came out and said, Kendrick, you're the best. Or maybe I'm not the best. Maybe I had a look of clarity. I had a moment of clarity, and I realized I was not the guy that I thought I was. I mean, maybe not say it exactly like that, but just something along that lines. But yeah, trying to gaslight people into thinking that this is like, I'm like this, I'm having this mature moment of clarity. Just stop it, because that just completely invalidates like the love for the sport, man. Like, say that to a battle rapper. Say that to people that go back and forth for a competition, and that's what they do. This rap thing can be a competition, and numbers is not gonna help you. Like with Kendrick, like numbers ain't gonna help you. You can't say, "Oh, I got more. I sold more records than him. I'm more critically acclaimed than him." No, this is about who is the better MC when y'all go back and forth. And just say you lost, walk away. I said the same thing like Common and Drake went at it a few years ago, and this will probably be my last point, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Drake and Common went at it a few years ago, and I felt like Common washed Drake on Sweet versus Drake's couple of shots on Stay Scheming, but then Common apologized, and I said he automatically lost. There's nothing either one of them can say at this point that would hand the win back to Common because he apologized. Now, with at least with Common, like Common was older, he's the elder statesman, he's the veteran, and he was honest and said, "I got caught up because I was in my feelings about Serena." And even though it's like we laughing at you, I respected at least he was honest. I was caught up. I was in my feelings. You dating my ex, and I feel some type of way about it. And like I could at least respect that. But I don't know, this gaslighting shit. Like I'm just saying, I need you to apologize for a lot more than just going at Kendrick on a pretty lackluster track. If you really want to try to play the mature card, we need consistency. Are you the best or not? Do you want the smoke or not? I say you got another 48 hours before. Like we need the Wale and the No Name apology in the next 48 hours if that's the case. But that's my thoughts, man. I'm a little disappointed. At this point, I don't even know if I even want a Drake response because I feel like it's still going to be. I feel like it's going to be just as much of a letdown as this. Like Cole really took the wind out of the sails, and like what sucks is that I said it at the time. This is the kind of energy that hip hop needs right now. After the terrible 2023, the 50th anniversary of hip hop, after how terrible hip hop has been, like the output has been pretty awful. I will say this year has already been a massive improvement with like Schoolboy, even Cole, the rest of Cole's might delete later. Um, Huss the Kingpin, Boldly James. Like, there's a lot of great hip hop. Mike put out a great project, and there's probably a few I'm forgetting right now. But just 2024 is already stacking up to be a better year than 2023, and this was just kind of like the icing on the cake. I mean, hell, the Future Metro Boomin album. Why I forget that one? That could have just been like the icing on the cake. Like it's the energy, like the real charge up moment, pun intended, that hip hop needed right now. And I just feel like this kind of take the wind out of everything. And yeah, I'm just disappointed. That's really all I can say. Yeah, man. All right, man. Just go be mature. Just put the stick down. Just leave the stick at home next time and make some meditation music. But yo, it's been your boy Vinny Dangerous. This is a surprise 1430 take. And until next time, much love.